no better weekend in the South Bay than this one. Welcome to the Manhattan Beach Open as we get set for the Cardinal and Gold to return to the South Bay. Kaeli Cheng and Sara Hughes are back from Paris with a 5th place finish and are looking to put their name on the pier again. Kaeli Cheng still has yet to put her name on the pier. She's a 2-time Olympian, and you can guarantee she is aiming for that pier location. Welcome back to the AVP. Cameron Irwin alongside another Olympian and a gold medalist at that. We got Rich Lamborn in the booth, and we are so ready to let you know all about Kaeli Cheng and Sara Hughes. They had an outstanding performance in Paris, but you can guarantee they're looking for gold here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting you kind of bring that up, that she's a 2-time Olympian, but yet to put the name on the pier, there's lots of kind of benchmarks that you want to hit in the world of beach volleyball, and certainly getting kind of enshrined in history is a big one of those here that everyone's looking to do.
Well, this is their first step as they will face off against Parker Bracken and Kaeli Cruz, one out of LSU, one out of Florida State. We've got a few LSU Tigers. There's actually 6 playing in this Manhattan Beach Open. The collegiate game continues to grow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how much that's solidified, particularly the women's side of the bracket on the AVP, and hopefully that continues on internationally. But I remember we were having a conversation yesterday about how kind of the middle section of the qualifiers is completely gone. Kind of those you know, road warrior type of players have been completely replaced by all the NCAA ladies.
It's wild. Well, this is the product of the NCAA right here. Sara Hughes and Kaeli Cheng, one of the winningest duos in the country. Let's head to Mark Sherman for our intros.
Yes, we are set. All set for match number 4 here on Stadium Court. Let's meet the players in this first team. Oh boy, the qualifier, that was a gnarly qualifier. They had a couple of 3-set matches, and then their final match, the match to get in, 26-24 to make it into the main draw, Manhattan Beach. And this first player playing in her very first AVP main draw, originally out of Ridgeland, Mississippi, one of the best high school players ever out of Mississippi. Just finished her 3rd year at LSU. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Parker Bracken. And her partner out of Winter Garden, Florida. Well, she played Waupaca back in 2022, but first time to the big one, everybody, here in Manhattan Beach. Out of South Carolina, finished up her college career this past year at Florida State. It's Kaeli Cruz. And their opponents here in Manhattan Beach. The Olympians, ladies and gentlemen, just got to watch them in Paris. And now down here to home in Southern California. This first player out of USC, the reigning world champion out of Costa Mesa, California. Let me hear it for Sara Hughes. Well, if she's the reigning world champion, then this player must also be the reigning world champion out of Fullerton, California. Now the 2-time Olympian. Let me hear it for Kaeli Cheng.
Rocking the red, white, and blue. Kaeli Cheng and Sara Hughes. Cannot wait to see what they put together after just a short turnaround time from the Paris Olympics. We're talking, what, a week? You better get yourself ready for this one.
Yeah, it is probably an interesting mental shift to have to make, right? You come not only time-wise, but as far as what your focus is. You put so much emphasis on the Olympics, and then they kind of end in a hurry, and you're back at it out here on the sands of Manhattan Beach.
Maybe not a whole lot of time to reflect. But I can guarantee a win here will turn that reflection a lot brighter.
Yeah. Certainly that is the task at hand, and there's no doubt these ladies are focused on that. Now, I know you like to maintain your neutrality in the broadcast booth, but sartorially speaking, you would be supporting the young girls with the tennis skirts?
Yeah, I mean, you know, throwing a little fashion out there. I also think it's fun too, just to see the products from the NCAA game. We just saw it in that last matchup on the women's side, just the amount of control and some of the nuance that they can bring. So fun to see how this game has developed, even at the youth ranks.
Well, yeah, people come in with their fundamentals much more sound at such a young age, I think, as a result of all the coaching they're getting, not only in junior club beach volleyball now, but certainly through the collegiate ranks.
Sara Hughes at the service line. She's got 7 AVP titles to her name. The first was alongside her current partner back in 2017. How about that touch? That's Cruz with no block in front of her. Kaeli Cheng, one of the best pull defenders. Showcasing her skills. She comes back again. Light touch, and it is not picked up. Cheng and Hughes, point number 3.
It is just a testament to the level, though, that it's taking so much effort for the world champions to put balls to the sand against these. I mean, I guess we call them upstarts from a professional standpoint, right? But they've been at it a long time in this game.
Very fair, and I think right now Sara Hughes just getting a feel from the service line, a tough one there, but when you're unsure of the opponent on the opposite side, I imagine there's kind of a testing out period.
Yeah, I tend to think just in general, the best approach is to kind of worry about what's happening on your own side. And never is that more so important than when you don't know anything about your opponents, right? You just worry about how are we going to serve the ball to space? How are we going to kind of execute our offense? What kind of defensive setups? You tend to revert to a little bit more simplicity, perhaps, if you don't have a dedicated game plan. But I think sometimes that can be a really good thing. Oh.
Back to back for Cruz.
I mean, that had so much power on it, it might have been hit by Terry Cruz.
I do. I know Terry. He's become a friend.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
Yeah, I see you over there flexing your pecs.
Yeah, just a little Terry Cruz pop.
Probably one of my all-time favorite films is White Chicks. Terry Crews is the star of that movie.
I don't know if that makes a lot of people's top 5, but it is in yours.
I mean, solely because of Terry Crews.
You're like Gladiator, The Godfather, White Chicks.
Nice little run here for Bracken and Cruz. Tough serve gets them tied up.
Now, you heard a lot of talk about that if you watched the Olympic broadcasts, how important kind of that middle serve is. Right? Misty talked about it a lot, how that was a big part of their strategy. I think, as far as serving goes, I think all the way back to when I played in college, one of the edicts that my coach had back then was serve a seam, serve an ace, right? And the concept remains true no matter what form of volleyball you play. I think that if you serve it right to somebody, generally speaking, especially at this level, that's going to equal a good pass, no matter how tough your serve is. But if you can serve it a little bit outside their body, serve it to some space, make them move, your chances of success go up vastly.
Watch for the service pressure from Kaeli Cheng here. She's got a few different weapons to be able to utilize from the service line, and they use the option against her. Not quite able to form her block there.
Yeah, that was just excellent movement from Cruz in the service reception. And then putting it up there for the option before Cheng could get all the way up to the net.
I mentioned Cruz out of Florida State. She also competed at South Carolina for a handful of seasons before heading off to play for Brooke Niles. And of course, Nick Lucena with Seminoles. Speaking of Seminoles, got to give a congratulations to Travis Merwerder. Now a part of that coaching staff for this upcoming season.
Yeah, it's, if you decide to be a Seminole, you'll get some good guidance in the beach volleyball.
There's no doubt about that. To your point, that was right on the platform of Sara Hughes.
Yeah, it's just, everybody's too good, right? If you serve it at them, they're going to pass the ball well more often than not. And you just make your life a little bit more difficult defensively. Especially, I mean, the option game of Kaeli Cheng is elite worldwide. So having to deal with that more than you want to is a recipe for a long day, I think.
Comes away with an ace, too. I think one of the coolest things in terms of this team's development over the past several years has really just been the fact of Kaeli Cheng changing some of those option plays, right? Like, she used to just go up and kind of poke over the back poke over the top of her head, or she was just taking an absolute rip. Her vision has improved so much on the option.
Yeah, vision and decision making, I think, are so critical in that particular play. I mean, obviously in every element of the game, of course, but you know, we talk a lot as it pertains to the option. We talk a lot about the Swedes, and there's a great example of another option play from Kaeli. But the Swedish guys are such great decision makers, and I think that's something that Kelly's really improved on, because obviously her skill and her variety of shots is amazing. When to employ them and kind of when to use that option play and when to kind of go with all three contacts. Those types of decisions, I think, is something she's really upgraded a lot.
I also love the fire you're seeing from these two. You know, there have been so many questions over the last week, because I think, especially when you look to the women's side and the Olympians, both TKN as well as Cheng and Hughes, they had high expectations. We're talking about some of the top 3 teams in the world, and they have proven that time and time again. They both walk away maybe with not the finish they had hoped for in the Olympics. What do they show up like in Manhattan Beach? And right now, they are showing like they've got full energy and have their eyes set to play at the top level.
Agreed.
Off the net, if you have that available, and then everything else opens up, right? Because I think in the beginning we're trying to do a little bit too much.
Too much, for sure, my bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know I can like maybe like a hair off so you can set me. I mean, I'm happy with you doing this.
I agree.
They're
like
so
the
good,
future.
Sara.
Yeah.
They're so good. I'll find you.
Hey, can you put in pressure on a serving space?
Yes.
Right now it really doesn't matter who we're serving, right?
Yeah.
As long as we're going toes, short, sideline. Yeah.
They've yet to really like hit cut shots, but they've gone like meet angle, meet line, and shooting kind of both ways.
Kind of holding.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, great.
Nice job.
And then like the next 4
Conversation there with Jordan Cheng, husband to Kaeli Cheng and coach of this duo. That's one of the missing elements, right, from the Olympics in terms of being able to have the coach in the box with you and hearing some of those conversations. So cool to see some of the elements you discussed, right? Maybe that option, maybe going to it a little too much. Sara saying, hey, we got space. I'm ready to set or ready to hit, but at the same time, you're scoring points.
Right, yeah, and he was also talking about kind of how they like to attack this team with their serve, right? Moving them around short, sideline, all that kind of stuff. Keep them guessing, keep them off kilter, so to speak, yeah.
Speaking of off kilter, that one's a little on tilt.
Yeah. That's one you don't see a lot, but that is the kind of creativity. You know, I think, yeah, success breeds that kind of stuff, right? Like it expands your range, it expands your creativity, expands your ability to implement some of those, I don't know, unorthodox plays, perhaps.
Big block! Kaeli Cheng drops the left hand.
That is a phenomenal read from Kaeli Cheng. She went with the split block and then saw it was going angle. Just left the big left paw out there.
That turned into a Kong block.
Oh, yeah.
She only needed one. It's time to talk about Sara Hughes. We've been talking about the creativity on the side of Cheng, but Hughes is the premier defender on the court right now. Just her ability to read the game and just play the right shot at the right time.
Yeah, and I think going back to your early point about kind of the upgrades that we've seen from Hughes and Cheng, the synchronicity on their side defensively, I think, has really taken a big step forward as well. You know, the block of Kaeli Cheng continually improving, like we just saw with the big lefty Kong, and that kind of works in symbiosis with the defender, right? That frees Sara Hughes, one of the speediest players on the sand, to kind of make those good reads, make those good moves, and then, you know, that's what causes so much trouble for their opponents.
Rocking the American flag and supporting this Olympian duo of Sara Hughes and Kaeli Cheng. So much to be proud of from all of our Olympians returning stateside. As you take a look to our outer court coverage, I believe that's Adam Roberts on the right side of your screen. In the backcourt, A look back to our stadium court. Just a bit of an onshore breeze as the Manhattan Beach Pier sits on the right side, as well as Wilson. Always a part of the party. 15-6, Cheng and Hughes. That's Parker. Parker Bracken out of LSU. Stands at 5'10".
Yeah, they have the unenviable task right now of trying to generate a little something on their side to get back into this first set. Probably not doable in the first set, but you got to try and start generating momentum towards the second, right? Because if this gets out of hand, it can get ugly quickly.
Pretty impressive performance, though, from Bracken and Cruz, one of the toughest qualifiers of the year, and they made it through. The scores are a little wild, considering their first and second round in the qualifier. Each of those went 14-21, 21-14, and pushed to a third set. They won the first third set 17-15, the second 15-10. Nice block back from Cruz. Their last and final matchup in the qualifier, 21-19, 26-24 in the second set. An absolute fight to find themselves here in the main draw.
And what do you get for your efforts? The #3 team in the world.
There it is again.
Yeah, that is next to impossible if you can't get Hughes and Cheng out of perfect pass offense.
A cool position for Kaeli Cheng to be in. This is not the first time she's returned from an Olympics and played right away. I think back to when she played and became an Olympian alongside Sara Sponsel. Their return to the sand was, I believe, in Atlanta, right after Tokyo. Sara Sponsel, congratulations to her. She's about to be married, taking some time. She played professional indoor volleyball this season. It was fun to watch her get back on the indoor court. Hope to see her back on the sand soon.
Do we know if that's a possibility?
I don't know. I need to send a text message to her. But how lucky have we been on the women's side to see some of the just best defenders on the world coming from American soil.
Yeah, and their run, meaning Kaeli and Sara Sponsel, leading up to Tokyo was unbelievable. They needed to essentially win, and they won back-to-back tournaments against the rest of the world. I mean, it was something else. Yeah. It's curious to watch as Bracken goes on here. She holds on to that ball quite a long time on the set.
All right, watch that second contact on Bracken. The right side of the court in pink. Works her platform here. Set point fended off by Bracken and Cruz.
Yeah, you talk about the difficulty of, being in Paris just a little over a week ago and coming here and having to compete, and sort of the mentality that you have to adjust and you have to kind of deal with to do that. But there's other elements such as a different ball, kind of a different setting standard. Lots of different little things go into that difficulty, right?
No doubt about it. 21-10. I think one of the things that might be similar is the fact that I've heard the sand in Paris was awfully deep, and it doesn't get much deeper than right here in Manhattan Beach. So maybe a little bit of similarity there for Kaeli Cheng and Sara Hughes, who make very quick work of set number 1. place to be right now, and Sara Hughes is looking to get her name on the pier a second time. Kaeli Cheng, her first. If you're wondering why, Kelly Kalinsky was the answer to that question. Sara Hughes and Kelly Kalinsky won the MBO in 2022. Sara didn't find herself here in 2023 in the draw, so first time back since winning. A look as the sand socks are going on, the sand's starting to heat up. Yesterday I was walking barefoot across the sand, and it is, yeah, a little worrisome.
Yeah, it's interesting how different the sands can be, right? This is some of the best sand in the world, in my opinion, especially for beach volleyball. But there is kind of this black silt kind of mixed in with it, and it really collects the heat, takes it out on your feet out there.
It's for sure. Cameron Irwin alongside Olympic gold medalist Rich Lamborn. And a couple Olympians on the court. Sara Hughes, Kaeli Cheng now on the right side. Parker Bracken out of Florida State, playing right side in pink. Kaylee Cruz, the left sider. A tough task to have to face off against Cheng and Hughes. Let's see what Cruz can put together here. Open net and short poke, the right play. Good vision as she dropped those eyes to the opposition.
Yeah, really good set from Bracken as well, from deep in the court. Again, I like the serving of Hughes. You know, like oftentimes I'll kind of talk about they scored an ace on Bracken. They went to Cruz, but really what Hughes was trying to do was go sideline, then to the middle. It just happened to be taken by Cruz. So they're listening to Jordan Cheng's instruction to kind of move that serve around.
Speaking of moving things around, how about the offense? Running that quick tempo, a little bit more of a shoot set to the right side for Sara Hughes, just a bit tight in terms of the location. Tough to try and blow up Sara Hughes. That's a good serve, right shoulder, but easily managed.
Yeah, she passes it well, and again, I mean, that ball is in perfect position for Kaeli Cheng to do anything she wants with it.
So against an option offense like that, what are some of the conversations you need to have going into a match in terms of knowing who's taking what?
Yeah, sometimes I think people tend to overthink it a little bit, like that we have to have a responsibility. You know, I think if you just kind of hold your ground, sometimes that's the best you can do. You really have to attack it with your serve.
Okay.
That's another reason I think the middle serve is so important. Because like you said, I mean, that went high on Sara Hughes' right shoulder, but Kaeli Cheng can empty out very, very quickly. And Sara Hughes is a great serve receiver, so she passes it perfect, and there you go. If you put it in the middle, it at least makes both players think about it. So Kaeli Cheng can't just auto-release to the net. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I love it. So different serving strategies can change the offensive scheme on the opposite side of the net, which that is a great example of what won. A lot of times, too, people used to think like option, how do we try and get rid of it? Well, the line-to-line serve, right? Can that really do much? But when you've got somebody like Sara Hughes, she says, thank you very much. That platform will just send it right back up.
Yeah, I mean, I think the line-to-line serve is still very good. Yeah. But yeah, if you're trying to neutralize the option, probably the middle's a little bit better, especially if you can kind of mix in short, deep kind of stuff to the middle, where just anything where both players have to at least momentarily engage in the serve receive, and they can't just auto-release, like I said.
Yeah, trying to gunk up the middle.
Yeah, yeah. Just cruddy up the works, whichever expression we like.
High line for Kaylee Cruz. We got a chance to see an upset already on the women's side of the day. Hats off to Lindsay Sparks and Piper Furch out of Cal Poly. 2 sets over the 6th seed. Harward and DeBerg played very well.
Oh, how about the diving back bump cutty?
How many times have you said that sentence?
Hey, I don't know. I was tripping over myself trying to spit it out for the first time.
I mean, that was even a one-handed scoop somehow underneath the net.
I think that was a perfect physical representation of trying to verbally describe that play.
Bracken, good eyesight, goes over the top of Kaeli Cheng's block.
the thing that always stands out to me in these opening round matches, especially more and more now that we're seeing such talented players coming out of college, is the skill, the ability is there, but what sets the top teams apart from kind of the next teams is the consistency, right, in execution. Obviously, that'll come with time for Bracken and Cruz, no doubt, but that's really, you know, the best teams just wear you down with relentless consistency.
I had a lot of conversations this week with athletes on the women's draw, and they specifically discussed just the amount of service pressure and how it increases, especially going even more so internationally.
Yeah.
And a part of that is the ball, right? Like just how pingy that thing is on the Mikasa and how difficult it is to pass.
It does make a difference, but I mean, I can think of quite a few teams where, I don't know, their float serves are just on another level. The Swiss being one of them, kind of rode that to a bronze medal in Paris, but it's always been kind of a hallmark. The Germans are another one. You know, I mean, obviously, Anna Patricia and Dude are great servers kind of in different ways, but yeah, the service pressure and the ability to maintain that pressure is another part of that consistency, speaking of, that sets those top teams apart.
And that block of Kelly Cheng is also what sets teams apart. What in the world? Is she okay? I have never.
She's smiling, so we're chuckling, but that was, yeah.
As long as she's okay, then we can laugh. But Sara Hughes just got attacked by the sand. I don't know how that happened.
Let's not overlook the coordination it takes right here. I'm falling, and she managed to hit that long. That is wildly impressive.
She looks like she's doing okay. Finds the point right after. I don't know if that was the sand or the line that tripped her up.
Yeah, it's tough to say. Again, I can't believe that she got that much wood on the ball after falling into the sand. I mean, that's...
She went full Hulk smash.
Yeah.
With the fist to get a little extra something. Cheng and Hughes starting to climb away here, 10-7.
Yeah, if you had Sara Hughes trips and falls on a serve and serves it long
on your bingo
on your
card?
bingo card, that is very impressive.
Nice cut there from Parker Bracken.
Cruz back to serve.
There's the option again. The amount of coordination required to be able to drop your eyes in the middle of your approach is pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, it becomes second nature. I mean, you see so many good players with the ability to do that. But again, Bracken and Cruz have to figure out how to serve a little bit tougher. They're just making it too easy, serving balls right in Sara Hughes' lap. She's too good of a receiver for that.
And they're just down by 2 here, so maybe make a little bit of adjustment from the service line. This might look different in set 2.
Yeah, it's possible. You got to try something new.
There's that tough serve to the middle, to your point. Yes! No problem for Kelly Cheng.
Yeah, I think one of the things that happens is you try something new, and then, you know, I mean, that's a great side out from Cheng and Hughes, but you can't let yourself get discouraged just because they side out one time. You have to sort of realize the long-term value of that strategy.
Here's a look at that side out. Love this swing. Kind of that high, flat snap from Kelly Cheng.
That's a little bit unusual, yeah. She just kind of side swipes the ball there. But that is her go-to swing, right? That crossbody.
Right after play 3, loser of this match goes to the first round of the contenders bracket, where you would have to win 2 more matches to make it into Saturday. If you win this first match, you go to the second round of the winners bracket. If you win that,
not as much conversation on the opposite box here.
Round of the contenders bracket.
Cruz and Bracken.
Oh, I'm coming.
Got it,
I'm coming.
DJ Roche? Got all that?
I'm coming.
avp.com/brackets is where you can find information like that.
We'll isolate that audio later.
Cheng and Hughes not just doing some work on the AVP, multiple titles to each of their names, but also internationally too. Kaeli Cheng, 8 FIVB titles.
Yeah, it's interesting. With the Olympics, everything kind of gets pushed later in the year. So, I mean, it seems like we're approaching the end of the summer, but we're just getting ready to kick off the league. These girls still have some international events yet to play, so they've still got quite a full plate as we move into the latter stages of the year.
Yeah, you make a great point as you see the names on the exterior of the court right there. The league just a few short weeks away. Come September, you'll get a chance to see the top 8 teams on the men's and the women's side competing throughout the fall like never before, the AVP League. And you win a Heritage Series event, the Manhattan Beach Open being one, and you get an automatic bid into the league.
You strike me as a Palm Beach passion kind of.
I don't know, the San Diego Smash has a good ring to it.
All right.
Plus I lived there for a while, it feels a little more, you know.
Okay. Back to your roots.
Sure.
There's a serve right up the middle from Hughes. Showing the benefit of that, especially if you can locate it this perfectly. That's always so difficult to track. It's kind of flying away from one player and towards another.
Parker finds the sideline.
Again, I like, that's a great side out from Bracken and Cruz, but I like the mixture of serves that Cheng and Hughes are throwing in. They're just kind of going around the world, you know, giving different looks every time they're back at the service line. That's really one good way to keep your opponent out of their comfort zone, right? Is never having any idea what to expect.
Yeah, perfect example was Lindsay Sparks and Piper Furch. Just when you thought you understood what they were going to do offensively, you see 15 different things. There's a good look. Cagey play up there from Bracken.
Not easy as a right-hander to go that sharp away from the body.
Not all. I like the fist pump there from Parker Bracken too on the end change. Staying in it emotionally. Understanding any point against this duo is a good point. Ooh, is it an ace?
I feel like the way Sara's looking at that, it is.
And Sara's gonna call it herself, saying, yeah, that's an ace. They have been looking for this line-to-line serve straight at the chest. That's maybe one of the few times that midline serve can sometimes cause difficulty.
Yeah, it certainly can if you get it deep like that.
That one not deep enough. That almost looked OT.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of a delay block from Cruz there, which is a good strategy. It looks a little curious if Sara Hughes swings at it. It
Yeah,
goes right over
weird.
the top of you, but yeah, you have to sort of remind yourself out here that it's a game of chess, right? You can't get too wrapped up in any one given play. I like the, if you saw the social media replays of Roger Federer giving that commencement speech, and he talks about how every single play has to be the most important thing to you, and then as soon as it's over, you completely forget about it, right? I mean, that's very applicable to our sport here as well in beach volleyball. You're giving your all, but you can't get too wrapped up in the result of any one given play, right?
The life of a goldfish.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Hughes chips over the top. It's so fun to watch Sara Hughes pass, serve, receive. It's almost as if you don't hear the contact. The ball hitting her platform, it's just that cushioned.
You like that? There's another great middle serve. I was always almost the opposite. I played with a few guys that had such great platforms, like where their forearms touched, that it made that slapping sound.
Yeah.
Like just to kind of indicated how perfectly they were contacting it, like right in the middle.
Well, Rich, I'm never going to argue about platforms with you.
No, that's just a preference.
No, I agree. Yeah, I think the ability to take pace off, and especially when you're getting a ball almost midline, and to be able to kind of scoop and take in some of that pace and power is a skill set almost necessary.
Sure. Yeah, especially out here, you know, there's a good amount of
Pop.
sort of bounce on the ball, right? So you have to really control that contact. There's a great option in transition.
And that is the match for Cheng and Hughes. Some quick work here in their first matchup of the Manhattan Beach Open. Congratulations to the #2 seed of Hughes and Cheng. They look solid.
Yeah, to your earlier point, it is nice to see them play at such a high level in this match, because you never know what to expect if there's a little bit of an Olympic hangover or whatever. They were fantastic.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights for these two. That's a great entrance to a match. But it started with the option play. They utilized it heavily in set #1, but then it wasn't just that. There's the infamous cut from Sara Hughes. And just great vision all around.
Yeah, that's probably the play of the match right there, right? The swooping left-handed Kong.
A little stuffy stuff. Always adding an extra element, almost faking that set or an attack on the option. And then there's the crossbody slap from Kaeli Cheng. Sara Hughes and Kaeli Cheng, all smiles after a first round win. Congratulations to the Olympians as they continue the trek here in Manhattan Beach.